From is one of the survival horror shows everyone's been talking about since its 2022 debut on MGM+. Created by John Griffin, it features a combination of supernatural horror and human drama. Let me walk you down memory lane with comprehensive recaps starting with the premiere season. Season 1, the Matthews family, parents Jim and Tabitha, teenage daughter Julie, and young son Ethan, are on a cross-country RV trip when they encounter a fallen tree blocking the road. This forces them to detour into what appears to be a small town. Sheriff Boyd Stevens instructs them to follow the tree road through town, but no matter which direction they drive, they keep looping back to the same location. They crash into another car carrying passengers Toby and Jade, flipping their RV and seriously injuring Ethan. With nightfall approaching, townspeople rush to help. They bring Toby and Jade to town while Boyd and Dr. Christie stay with Jim and injured Ethan in the overturned RV. Deputy Kenny's car hits a spike strip, forcing Kenny, Tabitha, Julie, Father Kotry, Jade, and Boyd's estranged son Ellis to run for Colony House before dark. Kenny's group barely makes it to Colony House, where leader Donna lets them inside just as monsters arrive. As night falls, creatures surround the RV. Boyd and Donna share that intelligent, shape-shifting creatures that kill for pleasure are usually in the woods. Everyone arrived the same way, trapped by the fallen tree detour. Victor, a mysterious man who survived since childhood, holds the survival record. Boyd discovered protective talismans that create barriers when placed inside buildings. At the clinic, Sarah hears voices commanding her to kill Toby and open the door. She murders Toby and lets monsters into the clinic, who slaughter everyone, including Kenny's father. Morning comes, and Ethan spots a mysterious boy in white through Colony House's window. During Choosing Day, where newcomers pick residences, Father Kotry explains the town's only punishment, the box, where offenders get locked outside overnight with monsters. Drunk Frank faces this fate after his negligence killed his family. Julie chooses Colony House over her parents' preference. Frank dies horribly that night. Victor shows Ethan a faraway tree where objects thrown inside teleport randomly. The voices command Sarah to murder Ethan for everyone's freedom. When Nathan discovers his sister's monster connection and tries to stop her, Sarah accidentally slashes his throat during the struggle, killing her brother. Boyd develops hand tremors, early signs of Parkinson's disease, and plans a dangerous forest expedition. Father Kotry theorizes they're being tested by God, their suffering creating a 74th Bible book. The voices prove supernatural knowledge by mentioning a bag Kotry buried when he arrived. Jade experiences Civil War soldier hallucinations and finds strange symbols in trees. Kenny's mother shows him a notebook with similar drawings. At Colony House, resident Kevin develops a relationship with one of the monsters. During Fatima's anniversary celebration, Kevin opens a window for his monster friend. The creature kills him, then leaves the window open. Monsters swarm inside, killing many inhabitants. Ellis and Fatima survive by barricading themselves with a talisman. Victor leads Julie into the woods, following the boy in white, sending her through a faraway tree to a root cellar. A monster kills Father Kotry as survivors reach the sheriff's station. Flashbacks reveal Boyd's arrival with his wife Abby and son Ellis. Boyd discovered the protective talismans during an overnight forest experience. When Abby's mental health declined and she opened fire on townspeople, Boyd was forced to kill her to save Ellis's life. Boyd and Sarah venture deep into the woods, finding a tree with bottles containing paper scraps dated back to 1864. An unknown female voice warns Boyd that worse things than monsters lurk in the forest, using his dead wife's pet name before something attacks their tent. Meanwhile, Jim builds a radio tower and makes contact with someone who knows his name and warns that Tabitha shouldn't be digging. Tabitha's basement excavation collapses, trapping her underground where Victor reveals monsters sleep. Boyd and Sarah discover the mysterious light comes from a lighthouse. The boy in white instructs Sarah to push Boyd into a faraway tree, trapping him in a shaft. Season 1 ends with a bus arriving, bringing fresh victims to this nightmare town. Season 2, a bus arrives carrying over a dozen new residents, including Randall, Marielle, and Elgin. Townspeople rush to corral passengers and fortify buildings. When driver Bakhta tries to leave, Donna shoots out a tire, causing some passengers to flee. Jade explains symbol importance to Ethan while Jim, Tom, and 2 passengers attempt rescuing Tabitha from the collapsed basement, but the house caves in, trapping them. Victor and Tabitha explore underground tunnels, discovering a forest where they narrowly escape when creatures wake up. Boyd climbs out of the mineshaft with help from an unseen stranger, a ragged, emaciated man named Martin chained to a dungeon wall. Boyd refuses to kill Martin and tries freeing him instead. Martin warns that forest creatures are only the tip of the spear. A music box starts playing on its own. Martin suddenly grabs Boyd's arm, transferring worm-like parasites into him before dying. Boyd finds himself back in the forest. Meanwhile, Christy tries reconnecting with her girlfriend Marielle, one of the bus passengers. At night, creatures hunt down anyone outside. Donna forces most bus passengers to shelter at the diner while monsters kill Tom, trapped under the collapsed house, as Jim watches helplessly. Boyd emerges from the forest and reunites with Victor and Tabitha in an old trailer. Ellis confronts Boyd about losing Sarah Sarah during his forest expedition. The new passengers are taken to Colony House. Kenny and Ellis discover Kelly, one of the passengers, staked to a tree with a rod from their traps. Christy examines Kelly and tells her she won't survive. Tabitha sees strange children while preparing to move with the Liu family. Ethan works on a sculpture puzzle resembling the stone pile Tabitha saw collapse in the tunnels. Kenny discovers Sarah hiding in the church basement. In flashback, we see the Liu family's arrival. Kenny takes Boyd to Sarah at the church, where Boyd explains Sarah's unique connection to the town. Julie and Ethan visit Colony House, where Julie sees Elgin staring into the distance. Christy and Boyd discuss his progressing Parkinson's disease and recent forest injuries. Jim tells Tabitha about the mysterious radio voice and his suspicions they're being watched. Sarah tells Kenny about opening the clinic door, leading Kenny to confront Boyd and quit as deputy. Randall spends his first night in the bus. Jade hallucinates Christopher holding a book with bleeding symbols. Jim and Tabitha confront Boyd and Sarah at the church. Ethan locks himself in his room after hearing family discussions about Sarah. Victor shows Jade the car graveyard and tells him about Christopher, another resident obsessed with symbols before disappearing. Tabitha is confronted by chanting children. Food shortages worsen as Dale argues bus passengers shouldn't receive equal rations. During one heated argument, Dale stabs Ellis. Elgin drives Ellis to the clinic with Fatima at night. Boyd makes a desperate sacrifice, venturing out deliberately to expose himself to monsters. The creatures bite him, allowing Boyd to transfer his parasitic worms into the smiley creature, killing it instantly. Boyd's infected blood saves Ellis through emergency transfusion. Fatima asks Christy for a pregnancy test. Kenny admits they should have believed Boyd about his forest journey. Christy performs an autopsy on the dead monster, discovering its body contains only dried bile with no normal organs. They extract the strange bile for study. Jim theorizes they're trapped in an elaborate experiment, suggesting certain residents might be planted actors. Randall becomes unstable, tying Donna to a tree to test Jim's theories. Elgin tries remembering important dream details, drawing a bath where he hears the music box and appears held underwater by a monstrous kimono-wearing woman. Kenny dreams about a ringing phone. The voice chants, "They touch, they break, they steal. No one here is free," followed by cicada-like creatures emerging from a cooking pot. Boyd and Kenny discover the cicadas killed Reggie's wife in her sleep while she repeated the same phrase. He organizes residents to stay awake, knowing cicadas attack during sleep. The haunting ballerina music box starts playing over the radio, putting Julie, Marielle, and Randall into death-like comas. Boyd finds himself back in the dungeon, seeing victims chained and tortured. Despite visions of his dead wife Abby warning against fighting the entity, Boyd destroys the music box, awakening all three from their comas. Jade ventures into underground tunnels, discovering 7 emaciated ghost children chanting Ankui while staring at a ceiling opening matching his recurring symbol. Victor takes Tabitha to a tree, transporting her to a lighthouse tower. At the top, the boy in white apologizes, saying, "This is the only way," before pushing her out the window. Tabitha wakes up in a hospital in the outside world, found unconscious on a trail. Season 3. Once awake in a Camden, Maine hospital with no memory of her escape, Tabitha sneaks out confused and finds an address on Victor's lunchbox, leading her to Henry Kavanaugh, Victor's father, who has spent 40 years searching for his lost son. Henry shows Tabitha paintings by Victor's mother Miranda depicting the township perfectly, claiming Miranda was chosen to free the children in the tower. Back in the township, Jim and Kenny search for the lighthouse where Tabitha disappeared, discovering a previously unknown settlement where they camp overnight. At Colony House, Donna discovers all remaining crops have mysteriously rotted, leaving only farm animals for food. With dwindling resources, several townspeople, including Randall, attempt stealing the animals, but Boyd talks them down. That night, creatures orchestrate their cruelest plan yet, releasing the animals from their pens to lure residents outside. While Jade and Victor save smaller animals, Boyd and Tian Chen escort a cow back to the barn. After Boyd places a talisman, creatures already hiding inside handcuff him and force him to watch as they slowly torture Tian Chen to death. Jade enters the barn, finding Tian Chen's mutilated corpse and Boyd mumbling hysterically while handcuffed. Jim and Kenny return with fresh vegetables from the settlement, but Kenny learns of his mother's devastating death. Fatima faces pregnancy complications, seeking medical help where Marielle discovers severe malnutrition. Unable to stomach normal food, Fatima impulsively eats rotten vegetables that mysteriously satisfy her hunger. In the outside world, Henry reveals Miranda's paintings and mentions she claimed to be chosen to free the children in the tower, making Tabitha believe she was chosen too. After Tian Chen's funeral, Boyd asks Ellis to help capture creatures for study. At home, Jim hears the phone ringing with a voice claiming to be his dead son, Thomas. Jim communicates with a threatening voice that taunts him about his children's safety, causing erratic behavior. Kenny leads Jade, Christy, and Dale to the settlement for food gathering. Jade becomes paranoid from hallucinations and attempts running back to town despite approaching darkness. During their escape attempt, Christy's leg gets caught in a bear trap until the group frees her. Tabitha attempts deciphering Miranda's painting paintings while Henry shows her a replica bottle tree in his backyard. When they drive to the original bottle tree location where Miranda first hallucinated, an oncoming vehicle hits them. Tabitha awakens in an ambulance with unconscious Henry, but a fallen tree blocks their path. In the township, Ethan communicates with the voice claiming Tabitha needs rescuing. The ambulance arrives where creatures lay a trap, killing the drivers. Police officer Acosta, assigned to the ambulance, gets chased to Colony House where she accidentally shoots resident Nikki. Jim and Tabitha reunite, reaching Colony House with Henry's help, but they're forced to abandon Randall when creatures surround him. Despite Marielle's attempts, Nikki dies from the gunshot, and Fatima impulsively consumes her blood when alone. After torturing Randall, creatures leave him alive outside Colony House. The next morning, Kenny's group returns while Christy recovers at the clinic alongside Randall. At a town meeting, townspeople led by Dale turn against Boyd, demanding access to the bottle tree for escape. When Dale ignores warnings and enters the bottle tree, he gets teleported into the township's empty pool where he dies horribly. Medical examinations reveal Fatima isn't actually pregnant despite her growing belly. Victor and Henry explore underground tunnels, finding Jasper, the ventriloquist doll, belonging to former resident Christopher. But they awaken creatures and flee quickly. Jade discovers a second bottle tree containing identical mysterious numbers. Fatima's cravings intensify and she loses control at the greenhouse, fatally stabbing Tilly. Boyd takes Fatima to an empty cabin while covering up Tilly's death. Elgin, following instructions from Polaroid photos produced by his camera, secretly leads Fatima to a hidden cellar and traps her behind a concealed door. Boyd and Ellis search desperately for Fatima while Elgin feeds her his blood, causing rapid pregnancy progression. Sarah explains the voices claim Fatima has little time left. Under torture by Boyd and Sarah, Elgin reveals Fatima's location. The kimono woman helps Fatima give birth before disappearing with the amniotic sac. Boyd witnesses the smiley creature's rebirth, learning these monsters gained immortality by sacrificing their own children. Jim, Tabitha, and Jade discover the bottle tree numbers represent musical notes. Playing this melody summons ghostly children who reveal Tabitha was Miranda and Jade was Christopher in past lives. Both died trying to save the trapped children. The season ends devastatingly when the mysterious man in the yellow suit kills Jim by ripping out his throat. Who do you think survives in season 4? Please share your theories about the yellow suit man below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.